everyone. Welcome back to the Jingjo Lifestyle YouTube channel, where adventure meets culture and every stop tells a story. Today, we're hitting the legendary Route 66 and diving into one of Arizona's coolest hidden gems, Kingman. Whether you're a road trip junkie, a history lover, or just chasing something new, buckle up. This one's got the vibe, the stories, and the soul of the Mother Road. Let's kick things off where all great journeys begin, the Kingman Visitor Center. The gift shop at the Visitor Center. Now, before you roll back out onto the open road, you have to check out the gift shop. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical tourist trap. This place is a treasure chest of Route 66 nostalgia. The moment you step in, it's like walking into a retro dream. Think vintage tin signs, license plates from every era, old gas station memorabilia, and handcrafted souvenirs that actually mean something. There's Route 66 mugs, t-shirts, keychains, shot glasses, and even some quirky things you didn't know you needed, like a cactus-shaped bottle opener or a retro diner-style salt shaker. What really makes it special? The shop stocks a lot of locally made items, from Arizona artists and craftspeople. So when you grab something here, you're not just taking home a souvenir, you're taking home a piece of Kingman. It's the perfect place to grab a gift for someone back home, or just spoil yourself for making the trip. Featuring classic Route 66 hats, stylish women's dress tops, and a cool selection of colorful stones that reflect the spirit of the Arizona desert. Whether you're after something to wear or a unique keepsake, these finds make the stop totally worth it. Over on the other side of the shop, they've got some cool stuff for the guys. Men's apparel, Route 66 shirts and hats, little nameplates,
key change,
more keychains, a bunch of t-shirts, brochures, and maps, including a nice Route 66 map. There are even more mugs over there too. That's pretty much it down here. Let's go ahead and check out what's upstairs. Kingman really gives you that classic Route 66 vibe. The shops, the signs, the people, it all feels like a step back into a golden era of road travel. But to really appreciate what makes all of this possible, we've got to tip our hat to someone just down the road in Seligman, Arizona. A man named Angel Delgadillo. Angel isn't just any old-school barber. He's known as the guardian angel of Route 66. Back in the 1980s, when the interstate system started pulling traffic and life away from these small towns, Angel decided he wasn't going to let Route 66 die. From his humble barbershop in Seligman, he helped spark a movement that brought this historic highway back to life. His passion helped preserve the road, the stories, and towns like Kingman, so folks like us can still come out here and experience the real heartbeat of Americana. So while we explore all the cool spots around Kingman today, just remember, part of this journey exists because one barber decided the road was worth saving.
Welcome to the Kingman. I'm gonna get the haircut from this guy. He's been cutting hairs for how many years?
Oh, he's like 96-year-old. His name's Angel.
Here's how to pronounce Angel Delgadillo properly in English and Spanish-style pronunciation. English approximation, Angel del Danish pronunciation. Angel, the G is soft, almost like an H sound. Delgadillo, Delgadillo. Double L in Spanish sounds like a Y. So altogether, Angel Delgadillo.
Delgadillo.
There is a logo.
Oh my goodness.
It's a barber. Let's get a haircut.
Hello, Jingjo. Welcome to my barbershop. I'm Angel Delgadillo. How would you like your haircut today? Just a little off the top, or maybe just a quick touch-up. All right, you're all set.
Look, come out good now. Look. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's go check out the museum.
Oh, we got a ticket. It's $10 each, okay? Never expire. You can use this all your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Until
remember to bring it with you.
you have to bring it with you. If you forget this, no forever.
Okay.
Let's go in.
Okay.
dressed like all day.
And when people traveled, they didn't pack light. You'll see these huge old-fashioned trunks and luggage they used to carry, packed with clothes, supplies, and anything else they needed for the long, rough journey ahead. These weren't just weekend trips. People were moving across the country, and their luggage had to hold up. No wheels or zippers here, just heavy-duty leather, wood, and iron. It's amazing to see how tough travel really was back then, and how much gear folks had to bring just to survive the ride. And if you've ever wondered how Kingman got its name, meet Louis Kingman. He was a civil engineer and surveyor in the late 1800s, and he played a huge role in building the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad across the Southwest. Louis wasn't just laying down tracks, he was opening up the West. He helped plot out railroad routes through rough terrain, desert heat, and rugged mountains, and one of the major stops along the line ended up becoming what we now know as Kingman, Arizona, named in his honor. Thanks to his work, towns like this sprang to life, and the path he helped create would later connect right into historic Route 66. So in a way, Louis Kingman helped pave the way, literally, for the road trips we're taking today. Now here's a piece of history that a lot of folks don't know, the story of the Harvey Girls. Back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, travel by rail was booming, and the Fred Harvey Company opened a chain of elegant restaurants and hotels along the railroad, including spots right here in Arizona. To staff these places, they hired young women from all over the country. And these weren't just waitresses. The Harvey Girls were known for their professionalism, charm, and strict code of conduct. They brought grace and hospitality to the Wild West, serving travelers with crisp uniforms, warm smiles, and some of the best meals you could get between Chicago and Los Angeles. They helped civilize what was once considered a rough frontier, and many ended up settling in the towns where they worked, helping build real communities. So while you're standing here in Kingman, just imagine the sound of a train rolling in and a line of Harvey Girls greeting passengers at the station. They were a true part of the Route 66 spirit. Strong, classy, and way ahead of their time. Now upstairs in the museum, one of the coolest things you'll see is the Concord Stagecoach. And let me tell you, this thing is a true piece of Wild West history. Built in the 1800s, Concord stagecoaches were the gold standard back then. Strong, handcrafted, and built to handle the rough, rugged terrain of the American frontier. These coaches weren't just used for passengers. They carried mail, money, and sometimes even gold. And they didn't have shock absorbers, just big leather straps that made the whole ride bounce like a boat in a storm. Standing next to it, you can almost imagine what it must have been like. Dusty roads, horses snorting, and the long stretch of desert ahead. It's wild to think that before highways and gas stations, this was how people traveled across the West. It's big, it's bold, and it's a reminder of just how far we've come, but also how much adventure has always been part of the journey.
So many things to see here. Kingman. Oh my god. What years is it? This is real stuff.
1800s, 1857.
As Route 66 became the main street of America, a lot of travelers didn't have the luxury of hotels or motels along the way, so they'd just pull over and camp right next to their car. You'd see families with a little fire going, cooking up dinner on a cast iron pan, kids running around, and maybe a clothesline strung from the car to a cactus. The car was their ride and their home base. Some folks even slept inside the car or laid blankets out under the stars, with nothing but the night sky above and the dust of the open road behind them. It was all part of the adventure. Freedom, simplicity, and making do with what you had. That kind of spirit, the pull over anywhere, roll with it lifestyle, is still what draws people to Route 66 today. It's not just a road, it's a memory in motion.
Whoa, this is an old truck. They can put the clothes in there, see? All this on it? Wow, must be what?
This is traveling family people. They go travel on the road here.
1992.
Yeah. They earn money on working on the side of the road to earn enough gas.
To go, what is this? Camping, right?
Yeah, on the side of the
All
road.
this,
You see a picture of the village, see these people? That's how they do it.
this is how they do. They stop each area, so
I think that's how they travel back then.
this is how they travel.
And Route 66.
Route 66. Look at all day. Look, they got bucket. They got all kind of stuff in the truck. Wow, this is amazing.
Now check this beauty out. The 1950s Studebaker Champion, 4-door edition. This car wasn't just a way to get around. It was a statement. Sleek, smooth, and way ahead of its time, the Champion had that bold bullet nose front end and that signature curved windshield that made it stand out from the crowd. Back in the day, Studebaker was all about innovation. The Champion was one of the most affordable family cars on the road, but it still had style. Roomy interior, chrome details, and that classic two-tone paint that screamed Americana. You could just imagine it cruising down Route 66, white wall tires spinning, windows down, and the whole family packed in for a cross-country adventure. It's not just a car, it's a time capsule on wheels. And seeing one today instantly takes you back to the golden age of the open road.
$19.50. Studebaker.
1950s
This was
Studebaker.
at $1,487 for this
Back
one. Back then. Arizona.
Back in the golden age of road trips, getting gas wasn't just a quick pit stop. It was an experience. Service stations dotted the length of Route 66, and they weren't like the self-serve pumps we know today. Nope, you'd pull in and be greeted by a friendly attendant in a crisp uniform, often with a smile and a howdy folks. They'd pump your gas, clean your windshield, check your oil, and even top off your radiator if needed. It was full service in every sense of the word. If you had a flat tire, no problem. They'd patch it up or swap it out right there. Oil change? Pull around back and they'd take care of it while you relaxed in the waiting area. Maybe sipping a soda or chatting with locals. These stations were little roadside hubs, often family-run, and they made travelers feel right at home. That kind of personal touch made every stop on Route 66 something to remember. Back in the heyday of Route 66, before the rise of big box stores and fast food chains, small roadside grocery shops were a lifeline for travelers and locals alike. These weren't just places to grab a snack. They were tiny hubs of community and survival in the open stretch of the Southwest. Picture a dusty little building, maybe with a creaky screen door and a faded Coca-Cola sign out front. Inside, shelves were lined with canned goods, fresh produce when available, and the sweet scent of old wood floors and penny candy. You could grab an ice-cold soda from a chest cooler, a loaf of bread, or even a couple of eggs wrapped in newspaper. Sometimes these little stores were connected to gas stations or family homes, and you'd be greeted by the owner or their kids like barefoot and sun-kissed from playing outside. These shops weren't just convenient. They were part of the fabric of Route 66 life, reminding travelers that even out in the middle of nowhere, there was always a friendly place to stop and stock up. As we head downstairs, the air shifts, cooler, quieter, like we're stepping back in time. And the first thing that grabs your eye? Mining equipment. Old picks, helmets, rusty lanterns, and ore carts frozen in time. This is where the story of Kingman truly begins, long before road trips and gas stations. Back in the late 1800s, before Route 66 was even a dream, Kingman was a boomtown fueled by silver and gold. Miners from every corner of the country, some chasing fortune, others just a fresh start, braved the brutal Arizona heat and the rugged landscape, digging deep into the earth for a chance at the American dream. They lived in tents, worked by candlelight, and carried their hopes on their backs. These weren't just tools, they were lifelines. Mining didn't just build Kingman, it put it on the map. And when Route 66 came through, it wasn't just about travelers passing through. It was about honoring the grit of those early pioneers. So as you look around, just imagine the clang of pickaxes echoing through canyons and the glow of oil lamps lighting up those long desert nights. This is the heartbeat of the Wild West, and it all started underground.
In 1984, Williams was named after the famous mountain man, Old Bill Williams, and represents
Is this where you watch a movie? It shows every hour.
depicts the attitude of early America.
Historic vehicle exhibit. Oh.
Right as you step into the powerhouse Route 66 Electric Vehicle Museum in Kingman, this little green pod catches your eye. And it's not a spaceship, even though it kind of looks like one. This is the Corbin Sparrow, and it's one of the most unique electric vehicles ever made. At first glance, it might look like a cartoon car or a concept toy, but this was a real, street-legal vehicle built in the late 1990s. It's a single-passenger, three-wheeled electric car, designed to be ultra-compact and efficient, basically a personal commuter pod for city driving. It was ahead of its time. Most people in the 90s were still driving big gas-powered cars and trucks, but here comes the Sparrow. All electric, no tailpipe, and about the size of a motorcycle with a windshield. You could park it just about anywhere and plug it into a regular wall outlet to charge. Underneath the funky aerodynamic body is a surprisingly capable electric drive system. It could go up to 70 miles per hour, which made it perfectly legal for highway driving, and had a range of around 30 to 40 miles, which was pretty solid for the time. And yeah, it turns heads. This thing didn't just try to blend in, it wanted to stand out. Bright colors, bubble canopy, totally futuristic design. It was the kind of car that made people stop and ask questions. Even now, decades later, it's doing exactly that here in the museum. What's really cool is how this vehicle represents a turning point, a moment when independent inventors started asking, why not electric? Long before the Teslas and Rivians of today. The Corbin Sparrow may not have changed the world back then, but it planted a seed.
That's Roadside.
Yeah.
Oh, look, thái tông này đi.
I got it.
Will Nelson Roadside.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the real one. Oh my God.
Now, just around the corner from the Corbin Sparrow, you'll spot something that's equal parts luxury, charm, and outlaw cool. A custom electric golf cart styled like a Rolls-Royce, previously owned by country music legend Willie Nelson. This isn't your average golf course cruiser. It's been decked out to resemble a miniature Rolls-Royce, complete with a long, elegant hood, faux chrome grille, white wall tires, and plush seating. It's classy, but with that unmistakable Willie flair. You can almost picture him rolling around his Texas ranch in it, guitar in one hand, cowboy hat tipped low. But beyond the novelty, this cart reflects something deeper. Even decades ago, folks like Willie Nelson were already embracing electric vehicles in their own way. He's long been known for his environmental advocacy, famously running his tour bus on biodiesel, so this EV fits right in with his personal values. This isn't just a golf cart. It's a symbol of how electric vehicles started to find their way into everyday life, not just in science labs or Silicon Valley garages, but on ranches, private properties, and retirement communities. And when a living legend like Willie Nelson uses one, it adds a whole new layer of cool. And of course, having this piece right here on Route 66, where so much American music history has traveled, makes it even more special. It's not just transportation, it's personality on wheels.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Is it Mercedes?
This one-of-a-kind Mercedes-style electric golf cart isn't just about luxury, it's a rare piece of outlaw country history. Co-owned by Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson, two of the most iconic names in American music, this cart represents their shared love for doing things their own way, with style, independence, and just a bit of mischief. Designed to look like a vintage Mercedes-Benz Roadster, the cart features a gleaming chrome grille, plush leather seating, custom bodywork with classic curves, a powerful electric motor perfect for gliding across a Texas ranch. Willie and Waylon weren't just legends behind a mic. They were early adopters of green tech, in their personal lives. Whether they use this cart to cruise around their properties, roll up to a private gig, or just to raise a few eyebrows, it's exactly the kind of ride you'd expect from two rebels who changed the course of country music. Now proudly showcased in Kingman, this vehicle adds a rich layer of Americana to the Route 66 story, a symbol of music, innovation, and personality-driven transportation.
Are you serious? They have this kind of car?
One light.
Wow, this is so cute.
Look at
Oh,
yours.
look at this. Look at this. They could go like this.
It's like a little tuk-tuk.
Yeah. Oh, look how that. Honey, look.
Yep.
That's how she go.
Come on, Joe.
See, look,
Yes.
look, that. This is like a rich lady. That's how she do.
The Kuster Chair Car. Built in the early 1930s, this quirky little vehicle looks more like a rolling armchair than anything you'd expect on the road. Designed by Levitt Luzerne Kuster, a pioneering inventor and engineer, the chair car was meant for short-range transportation, especially in environments like factories, hospitals, or even for postal delivery. What makes it stand out is its simplicity and purpose. With just enough room for one person, it's electrically powered and surprisingly nimble. Think of it as an early version of a mobility scooter, way ahead of its time. The chair car embodies the spirit of American innovation, especially during a period when electricity and transportation were evolving rapidly. It's not flashy or fast, but it represents a step in the electric vehicle timeline that deserves recognition. Standing next to this vintage machine, you can't help but admire how creative inventors were in solving the everyday transportation challenges of their time. It's a reminder that the road to today's Teslas and Rivians started with humble machines like this.
And what is this here?
Well, it's for racing.
Oh.
The Venturi VBB. Speed meets silence. The Venturi is not your average electric vehicle. This machine was built for one thing: breaking speed records. Developed by Venturi Automobiles in collaboration with Ohio State University, the Venturi VBB3, Venturi Buckeye Bullet 3, is one of the fastest electric cars ever made. Fast facts: top speed, over 341 miles per hour, 549 kilometers per hour. Yes, that's faster than most jets on a runway. Power packs over 3,000 horsepower thanks to twin electric motors. Battery tech. Fueled by a high-capacity lithium-ion battery pack engineered to deliver a massive surge of power in just seconds. This futuristic bullet-shaped machine raced across the Bonneville Salt Flats, tearing through the Earth's crust like a whispering rocket. What makes it special? It's completely electric, silent, and emission-free, a symbol of what speed and sustainability can look like when engineered to the edge of possibility. Why it matters. The Venturi is not just a racing car. It represents the future of motorsports, clean, efficient, and blisteringly fast. It shattered stereotypes about EVs being slow or boring and paved the way for a new era of high-performance electric racing. If the Powerhouse Museum displays any version of the Venturi, it's a must-see tribute to electric innovation.
And what is this? This is so beautiful.
A James Bond car. It's called Tropicana.
The sleek little white car you're looking at is the Tropica, an all-electric roadster that was way ahead of its time. Built in the early 1990s by a company called Renaissance Cars, the Tropica was designed to be fun, lightweight, and sporty, something you didn't often see in electric vehicles back then. Most EVs at the time were slow, boxy, and practical, but the Tropica had curves, a low stance, and an open-air design that made it look more like a weekend cruiser than a commuter car. It featured a fiberglass body, 2 seats, and a top speed of around 70 miles per hour, which was impressive for an electric car of its era. Its driving range was about 60 miles on a full charge, thanks to lead-acid batteries tucked under the body. The company behind it, Renaissance Cars, was based in Florida and only produced a limited number of these vehicles. That makes the Tropica extremely rare today. Just a handful survive, and even fewer are in museum-quality condition, like the one here at the Powerhouse Route 66 Electric Vehicle Museum in Kingman, Arizona. The Tropica is a great example of how electric car pioneers were already dreaming big decades before EVs went mainstream. It may not have revolutionized the industry on its own, but it showed what was possible, blending eco-conscious engineering with bold, head-turning style.
Oh, look, this is
I'm on those kind of magazine. They show those kind of
hot
girl.
white.
Nice.
Kawasaki is a fascinating piece of electric vehicle history. A bold, custom-built electric motorcycle created by the inventive team at Eyeball Engineering in Southern California. It showcases an imaginative blend of engineering innovation, DIY spirit, and early electric propulsion experimentation. Electric heartbeat. Unlike conventional motorcycles powered by gas engines, the Kawasaki runs entirely on electricity. It uses a DC motor, supplied by Advanced DC Motors Inc., known for industrial-grade electric motors. You can see the motor and its components prominently mounted on the side of the bike, left open intentionally, exposing its mechanical guts like a piece of kinetic art. Battery-powered beast. Tucked neatly into the bike's frame are several Genesis brand sealed lead-acid batteries, the same type often used in early electric conversions. These batteries store the energy needed to drive the motor and propel the bike, proving that even heavy traditional battery tech could power a performance-style motorcycle. The name Kawasaki is a tongue-in-cheek homage to Kawasaki sport bikes, known for their aggressive performance and design. The shock in the name is a clever nod to the bike's electric nature, and perhaps the surprise it gives when it quietly zooms past with no engine noise. A garage-born vision. This isn't a factory model or corporate prototype. It's a hand-built machine from a passionate builder at Eyeball Engineering, a shop known for quirky, boundary-pushing projects. This makes it a rare piece and a great conversation starter for anyone curious about the evolution of electric motorcycles. Part of a larger story. The Kawasaki stands proudly among other pioneers at the Electric Vehicle Museum, the first museum in the US dedicated exclusively to electric vehicles.
Oh, it looks like my grandma. My grandma used to have that, remember? When we went to Thailand, so we opened it.
Yep.
Oh. Look at all the wood.
Yep.
As the sun dips low over the Arizona horizon, the railway yard comes to life with the sound of movement and memory. Here stands a sturdy wooden baggage wagon, worn by time and trail. Its wheels, iron-rimmed and heavy, have rolled across countless miles of dust and stone. Laden with leather trunks, crates of dry goods, and bags of mail, it waits silently beside the rails, a vital link in the great journey westward. Drawn by a team of tired horses, the wagon bears witness to the pulse of a growing nation, carrying dreams, possessions, and promises across the ever-expanding frontier. Before highways and haul trucks, this was how America moved forward, one wagon load at a time.
Oh, stop. This is amazing. Okay, guys,
Carriage.
come and check out at Kingsman
Museum.
Museum. This is very unique. This porch.
Right in front of you is a legend, the 1983 Porsche 911 SC, a rear-engine masterpiece, dressed in vanilla cream and ready to remind you what driving used to feel like. No computers, no fake engine noise, no driver assists, just pure mechanical connection between man, machine, and the open road. This was Porsche's answer to a world that almost moved on. Back in the late 70s, the 911 was supposed to be done, replaced by the more modern front-engine 928. But the world didn't want modern. It wanted passion. It wanted soul. And the 911 SC delivered both, with a naturally aspirated 3.0-liter flat six that sounded like thunder in a tunnel and handled like it was reading your mind. 180 horsepower might not sound wild today, but in this featherweight frame, with a 5-speed manual and nothing between you and the road, it's more than enough to make your heart race. And if you know what you're doing, this car will break loose and spin donuts like it's showing off for an old friend. It's a rebel in a tailored suit. Refined on the outside, rowdy underneath. The SC stood for Super Carrera, and it lived up to that name. It helped rescue the 911 from the chopping block and paved the way for every modern Porsche you see today. This 1983 model was the final chapter of the SC story before the next evolution took over. But this one is raw, alive, and unforgettable. So take another look. Right in front of you is a time machine, a precision-built outlaw, a snapshot from the golden age of driving, the 1983 Porsche 911 SC. It doesn't follow trends. It makes them.
Oh, look at the Porsche.
This
Look at
is
this
Elon Musk Tesla, his first one, I think.
Oh my God, I think so.
So what you're looking at is a rare gem, the 2008 Tesla Roadster, serial number 480, lovingly known as the SEMO. This car is part of Tesla's original production run, one of only about 500 units made during their early days. Out of the 2,500 Roadsters that were ever built, this one stands out as a key piece of history. This model was a game changer, way before Tesla became the household name it is today. And if you think about it, Elon Musk sent one of these exact cars into space back in 2018, aboard a Falcon Heavy rocket. How cool is that? But sadly, these early models are becoming rarer. In fact, over 30 of these Roadsters were lost in a fire at Gruber Motors in Phoenix, Arizona, back in 2021. So seeing one today is a pretty big deal. As for the specs, this Roadster has a 53 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, giving it a range of about 220 miles. It's got an impressive 248 horsepower electric motor that lets it reach speeds of up to 125 miles per hour, pretty fast for its time. And with an MPGe of 105, it's still got that efficient edge. Now, this particular Roadster has some emotional weight behind it. Greg Simon from Mill Valley, California, owned it. After his passing, his wife, Heidi Locke Simon, donated it in his memory. Such a touching tribute to a man who clearly loved what Tesla was doing. Today, you can find this Roadster proudly displayed at the Historic Electric Vehicle Foundation in Kingman, Arizona. This museum is home to the world's largest collection of historically significant electric vehicles. And this car is one of its star attractions. So yeah, this isn't just a car, it's a piece of history. A rare artifact from Tesla's humble beginnings that's now on display for everyone to appreciate.
Jojo's amazed.
I love this color. Oh, look. This car. USU Formula Lightning.
Yes, you
This
aired
is
your own universe.
lady, honey, the girl.
It's a racing car.
Race car.
And here it is, our next sports car. Quietly powerful and beautifully engineered, this sleek electric race car comes from a place you might not expect, a university workshop, not a corporate lab. Designed and built by the talented students of Arizona State University, this open-wheel racer blends modern electric technology with raw ambition. It's a symbol of what's possible when innovation meets passion, right in the hands of future engineers. Electric precision. Every curve, every cable, every part of this machine was chosen with purpose. It's powered by a responsive electric drivetrain, delivering smooth acceleration and sharp handling. No roar, no exhaust, just clean power. This is what the future of racing sounds like. Silence, made to compete, built to inspire. Created for the Formula SAE Electric Series, this car was more than a project. It was a challenge, engineered by students from the ground up, competing on a global stage. From suspension design to energy management, every detail reflects the creativity and precision of young minds working together. With heart and school spirit right on the nose, you'll spot Sparky the Sun Devil, ASU's fiery mascot. It's a reminder that this vehicle is more than a machine. It's a reflection of school pride, teamwork, and vision. It carries the spirit of the desert, the classroom, and the open road. A few quiet facts. Built by ASU engineering students with real-world racing in mind, reaches impressive speeds, often over 70 miles per hour. Designed to be lightweight, efficient, and sustainable. Supported by sponsors and mentors who believe in the power of young innovation. Why it matters. This car may be small, but it carries a big message. The next generation of sports cars isn't just coming, it's already here. And it started with a dream, some tools, and a quiet hum of electric power. Okay, here's the next cool vehicle. Right here in front of you is Lightning Rod 2. And trust me, this one's not your typical classic ride. This is the world's first all-electric hot rod, blending old-school charm with futuristic electric power. Built in 1995, but based on a 1929 Ford Roadster, Lightning Rod 2 was created by Roderick Wild and Bob Rickard from Wild Evolutions in Jerome, Arizona. These guys decided to take a step back in time and reinvent the hot rod, powered by something that was actually ahead of its time. Here's the fun twist. Back in the early 1900s, electric cars were the thing. That's right. Long before gas engines took over, EVs were seen as the smooth, clean choice. But then came the electric starter in 1912, making gas cars way more convenient, and the electric dream faded for a while. Fast forward to the 90s, and Wild and Rickard said, let's bring it back. So they took this classic Ford Roadster and made it a nod to the future. Silent, clean, and efficient. Lightning Rod 2 runs on electric power, offering smooth, silent rides without all the mess of oil changes or exhaust fumes. Just plug it in, and you're good to go. It's a wild experience when you think about it. Imagine cruising down the street with that old-school hot rod look, but no loud engine sounds, just a quiet hum of electric power. It's like turning heads while you glide past gas stations, leaving them behind in your rear view. And in 1995, Street Rod Action magazine called it a new kind of muscle, eco-friendly, with none of the typical gas-guzzling, smoke-belching nonsense. It's a piece of history and a bold step forward, showing us where cars could go in the future. So there you have it. Lightning Rod 2 is more than just a car. It's a mix of past and future, a glimpse into what could have been if electric power had taken the lead earlier. And who knows, maybe one day the roar of a gas engine will just be a memory, while electric hot rods like this are zooming around in full force.
Lightning rod.
Speeding.
ZZ Top.
Step back in time and imagine gliding silently through the streets of Detroit in the early 20th century. Not in a rumbling gasoline-powered car, but in a whisper-quiet electric marvel, the Detroit Electric Model 60. Manufactured by the Anderson Electric Company, later known as Detroit Electric, this elegant vehicle was far ahead of its time. Production began in 1907 and lasted until the late 1930s, with the model you're looking at built in 1930, a graceful survivor from a forgotten era of electric innovation. The Model 60 wasn't just any electric car. It was powered by 14 6-volt Edison batteries, offering an advertised range of 80 miles, though under ideal conditions it could travel as far as 211 miles on a single charge. That's an impressive feat, even by some modern electric vehicle standards. Charging the batteries took 6 to 9 hours, a leisurely overnight top-up for a quiet ride the next day. With a top speed of 20 miles per hour, the Detroit Electric wasn't built for speed. It was built for comfort, style, and prestige. Priced at $2,885 in 1922, it was a luxury vehicle that catered especially to doctors and women, who were a target market in early advertisements. The campaign promised that the Detroit Electric would take you anywhere that an automobile may go with a mileage radius farther than you will ever care to travel in a day. One of the car's standout features was its chainless shaft drive, a rarity at the time, and dual controls that allowed it to be driven from either the front or rear seat. Talk about chauffeur versatility. Detroit Electric counted some very notable names among its clientele. The wives of Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and even John D. Rockefeller Jr. were proud owners. At its peak in the 1910s, the company was selling between 1,000 and 2,000 cars per year. But like many great pioneers, Detroit Electric couldn't escape history. The stock market crash of 1929 and the rise of internal combustion engines led to its decline. The last car was shipped in February 1939, with a total of around 13,000 Detroit Electrics built. So, the next time someone tells you electric vehicles are a new idea, tell them about the Detroit Electric Model 60, the stylish, silent cruiser that was electrifying roads long before Teslas or hybrids ever hit the scene. you're looking at what might just be the most unexpected race car you've never heard of. No, it's not a Tesla, it's not a Porsche, it's a mail truck. Reborn with volts in its veins and racing in its heart, this beast started life as a humble Grumman step van. Yeah, the kind that delivered snacks or packages in the 80s. But someone saw more. They stripped out the gas, rewired its soul, and gave it a new purpose: electric performance. Welcome to the world of EV racing, where old school metal meets new school energy. Look at that hood! EV racing blazing in red lightning bolts, and a wild-eyed electric mascot ready to bolt out of the gate. It's loud, proud, and buzzing with character. Stickers from H&R, Exide Technologies, and Autotech aren't just for show. This thing's packed with performance potential and retro attitude. It's not your quiet suburban commuter. It's a rebellious icon. But here's the kicker. Electric vehicles like this aren't new. In fact, they've been around since the early 1900s. Out here on Route 66, where chrome and gasoline once ruled the open road, there's a different kind of legend parked in the museum today. Short, silent, and sparking with history. This is the city car, one of America's earliest electric vehicles, and a bold pioneer on the blacktop of change. Built during the gas-starved days of the 1970s oil crisis, the city car wasn't made for roaring down highways. It was made to outsmart the pump. With a range of up to 40 miles and a top speed around 38 miles per hour, this little wedge-shaped wonder cruised neighborhoods and backroads, buzzing softly while muscle cars sat thirsty in gas lines. Made by Sebring Vanguard in Florida, not Detroit, the city car had no chrome, no engine growl, just lead-acid batteries, a plastic shell, and pure electric ambition. It rolled off the line in a former airport hangar and straight into the history books, becoming America's most produced EV, until Tesla showed up decades later. Here on Route 66, surrounded by the echoes of drive-ins and diners, this quiet machine reminds us that innovation doesn't always make noise. Sometimes it hums, and in the heart of car country, the city car tells a story, not just of the past, but of the electric future that was already starting, right here.
Wow. Like one of those James Bond's car.
So cute. Okay.
Exit this way.
And that's the end of the ride, folks. The door straight ahead takes you into the gift shop, stocked with Route 66 souvenirs and electric classics. But we're heading out the door to your right, so follow the spark, and we'll see you back on the open road. And now, as we exit the museum, the adventure doesn't stop. It shifts gears. Step outside and feast your eyes on this, the massive Route 66 shield arch, proudly welcoming travelers from every direction. It's more than just a sign. It's a selfie magnet, a drive-through icon, and a full-on blast from the past. Built as a tribute to America's most famous highway, this arch marks Kingman's place in Route 66 history. Established back in 1882, Kingman became a pit stop for dreamers, drifters, and now electric dream machines. So roll on through, snap a photo, and feel the pulse of classic Americana, meet the future of EV travel. All here in Kingman, the heart of historic Route 66. Just across the street, past the hum of passing tires and neon flicker, stands a retro gem that's become the crown jewel of Kingman Eats. Mr. Diz Route 66 Diner. With its bubblegum pink and turquoise exterior and checkered floor inside, it looks like something straight out of a 1950s postcard. And that's exactly the point. The building's bones date back to 1939, once a Shell gas station and a little cafe serving weary travelers on the Mother Road. It stood through the golden age of the automobile, through the gas crises, the rise of the interstate, and the rebirth of Route 66 as a nostalgic legend. Then in 1991, brothers Scott and Roy Dunton, owners of a local car museum, saw its potential. They brought it back to life, christening it Mr. Dez, with a nod to their last name and a whole lot of diner soul. They didn't just serve burgers, they served memories. And one drink would make them famous: a house-made root beer, based on the taste Scott remembered from the 1962 World's Fair. Sweet, fizzy, and unforgettable. Even President Bill Clinton stopped by for a bite. Oprah, she had root beer shipped in, and TV shows from around the world have featured its neon glow. But despite the fame, Mr. Dez has never lost its local charm. Today, under the care of Armando and Michelle Jimenez, the diner's legacy lives on. Armando, once a chef at the MGM Grand, brought his culinary edge to diner classics, raising the bar on comfort food while preserving the soul of Route 66. So pull up a chair, order a milkshake, let the jukebox play. Because here at Mr. D's, the past isn't just remembered, it's alive. And it tastes like burgers, fries, and ice-cold root beer under the Arizona sun.
I like it. Bling, 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 bling.
Operation hours.
Just next door to the buzzing diner is the colorful little gem known as Mr. Daz Gift Shop, a must-stop for Route 66 travelers. Step inside and you're instantly wrapped in nostalgia. Racks of retro tin signs, shelves of vintage-style soda bottles, and t-shirts sporting classic road trip slogans. There are souvenirs for every kind of traveler, from hand-painted magnets to quirky mugs shaped like classic cars. You might even find a bottle of that famous Mr. Daz root beer to take home. The shop's warm charm and throwback vibe make it more than a place to buy keepsakes. It's a slice of Americana preserved for the next generation of road warriors. Past the rows of retro signs and Route 66 souvenirs is something truly special: a full showcase of gleaming 1950s classic cars. These aren't just models or replicas, they're the real deal, lovingly restored and proudly displayed under vintage lighting. With chrome bumpers, tail fins, and candy-colored paint jobs, each car captures the spirit of a time when the American road trip reigned supreme. It's like stepping into a living postcard from the golden age of motoring, right in the heart of Route 66. And tucked among the showroom shine and polished chrome inside Mr. Daz Gift Shop, there's one more car that always catches curious eyes. A weathered, rusty classic that's still waiting for its second life. Unlike the gleaming beauties beside it, this car wears its history with pride. Chipped paint, faded trim, and that unmistakable patina of time. It hasn't been restored yet, and that's the charm. It's a reminder of how every vintage car started out, full of stories and potential. In a room full of perfection, this one tells the raw, authentic side of the journey, the beginning of restoration, the spirit of revival, and the heart of Route 66.
Back.
66.
So we're gonna eat at the Thai restaurant from Bangkok Cuisine. Very cute. Let's go. Let's have some lunch. Let's check it out, the menu.
Feel nice and cool. Nice and cool. What's down? Hey.
For two?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're from Vegas. We want to try your food.
You're from Vegas, you want to try the best food in town? Okay, you're at the right place.
They have everything too. Look, they have some thyme and everything.
Something, yes. Something you need for you.
Well, folks, as much as we were craving a classic root beer float from Mr. D's, the place was packed wall to wall, so we took a tasty detour just down the road to Bangkok Thai Cuisine. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. First up, kapow chicken, sizzling with holy basil and chili. A bold punch of flavor. Then came the papaya salad, crisp, spicy, and just the right zing. We also ordered pork pad see-ew, wide rice noodles stir-fried to perfection, Thai iced tea. Oh yeah, sweet, creamy, and ice cold.
At Route 66 area in Arizona. Kingman, Arizona.
Follow me,
Kingman,
guys.
Arizona.
Hey, you want some? You want some? Yeah.
And just when we thought we were done, chicken larb showed up, fresh, tangy, and full of herbs. The owner smiled and told us they drive all the way to Las Vegas just to get the authentic ingredients. Now that's dedication. Right here in Kingman, Arizona, we got a taste of Bangkok street food with Route 66 soul. Sometimes the best road trip stories come from the unexpected stops.
All right, here we're checking out the locomotive park at Kingman, Arizona. Rob code and get some more info on that. All right, let's see what's
In the late summer of 1986, a curious buzz stirred through the town of Kingman, Arizona. The city had just received word from the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway. A surplus caboose was available. For a town built on the bones of the railroad, this was more than just a train car. It was a chance to preserve a slice of living history. The citizens of Kingman jumped in with both boots. Donations poured in, literally from piggy banks and spare change jars. A local student gave up 6 years of his coin collection. One city councilman donated his entire paycheck, a whopping $46.15. And in just months, the town raised $17,000. Kingman was going caboose crazy. Caboose number 9995 Tunju was no ordinary rail car. Born in June 1944 at Santa Fe's Topeka, Kansas shop, it originally went by the name CE2 number 2122 and wore a coat of mineral brown. But over the decades, it was rebuilt, repainted, and repurposed, finally taking on the bright red paint and iconic yellow Santa Fe logo we see today. During its 42 years of service, this steel veteran logged over 2.5 million miles across America's rails. That's enough to circle the Earth 100 times. It traveled with freight trains, guided crews, and kept watch from the tail end of locomotives. By the time it was retired in 1986, this 39-foot caboose had collected over 56,765 road trips worth of grit and memory. But it wasn't done yet. On May 9th, 1987, more than 4,000 people gathered at Locomotive Park to witness its final stop. 1,200 feet of tow rope, a crowd of volunteers, and some serious sweat helped move the caboose into its new home, a permanent resting spot just 30 feet away from the towering steam engine nearby. Today, caboose number 999520 stands not just as a relic, but as a symbol of how a small community rallied together to save a piece of its soul. It's a vibrant reminder that history doesn't just roll away, not if you love it enough to pull it back.
locked. Can I see what's inside there? Someone broke the glass here.
Before there were cars, before the roar of trains, there were wagons and the wild frontier. Right here, you're standing on a piece of true American trail history. This plaque marks the historic wagon route surveyed by Edward F. Beale between 1857 and 1858. Beale wasn't just charting a dusty trail. He was blazing one of the first federally funded roads across the Southwest. His expedition would eventually become the backbone for future railroads and highways. Fast forward to 1883, and the Atlantic and Pacific Railroad laid its tracks right along this same path. Then came Route 66, America's iconic highway. And guess what? It followed Beale's exact footsteps. So when you drive down Route 66 through Kingman, you're not just cruising. You're riding the same path pioneers, surveyors, and steam locomotives once traveled. This marker is a quiet tribute to the layers of history buried beneath every mile of this desert road, from wagon wheels to white walls.
Let's see what we got here. The Korean War and Korea Service Veterans, since 1950.
And just before we wrap up our day here in Kingman, we take a quiet moment at our final stop, the Kingman Veterans Memorial, right next to the big red caboose. This beautiful plaque might be small, but the meaning behind it is massive. It honors the veterans of Kingman, past, present, and future, and reminds everyone who visits
I went to that war right there.
that freedom has always come at a cost. The words here ask us to never take their service for granted, built through the heartfelt donations and efforts of local groups, from the Marine Corps League to Rotary Clubs, True Value Hardware, and even the Arizona State Prison. This memorial is pure Kingman, community-driven, grounded in pride, and rich with history. It was officially dedicated on Veterans Day, November 11th, 2006, by then Mayor Les Byram. Just one more reason to fall in love with this historic Route 66 town. So if you're passing through, slow down. Stand here for a second. Read the names. Feel the weight of their stories. Because Kingman isn't just a stop on the road, it's a place that remembers. Thanks everyone for riding along with us today on this unforgettable Route 66 adventure. We kicked things off at the Kingman Visitor Center, where we explored the Electric Vehicle Museum, filled with silent powerhouses from the past and future. We saw how folks once lived in their cars, cruised through the golden age of the automobile, and even stood beneath the Route 66 drive-through shield arch. Then we wrapped up our tour at Locomotive Park, where the mighty Santa Fe caboose number 99952 rests, a steel veteran with over 2.5 million miles of stories. Just next to it, we stood where wagon trails first carved paths across the West, the very same routes that would later carry trains, highways, and dreams. And while Mr. D's Route 66 diner was packed, we didn't leave hungry. We crossed the road to savor spicy, flavorful dishes at Bangkok Cuisine, where the chefs drive all the way to Vegas to bring the best ingredients to Kingman. If you enjoyed this nostalgic ride through history, food, and the open road, like, comment, and subscribe to Jingjo Lifestyle. And don't forget to tap that notification bell so you never miss the next stop. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and we'll see you down the road.